The Discovery. In the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, Captain Zara Voss of the Galactic Confederation survey ship Stargazer peered out of the bridge viewport. Her antennae twitched with anticipation as her ship approached an unmarked sector of space. For centuries, this region had been avoided due to strange electromagnetic disturbances and unexplained phenomena that left even the most advanced sensors baffled. Zara's mission was simple: investigate the source of these disturbances and report back to Confederation High Command. Little did she know that this routine survey would change the course of galactic history. "Captain, we're picking up an anomaly dead ahead," reported her first officer, a towering insectoid named Clix. His compound eyes flickered rapidly as he processed the incoming data. Zara leaned forward, her forearms gripping the arms of her command chair. "On screen," she ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a swirling mass of cosmic dust and debris. At first glance, it appeared to be nothing more than a standard nebula. But as the Stargazer's advanced sensors probed deeper, something impossible emerged from the chaos. "By the void," Zara whispered, her normally stoic demeanor cracking. "Is that a ship?" Clix chittered excitedly. "Affirmative, Captain. But it's unlike anything in our database. The size alone is staggering." As the Stargazer drew closer, the full magnitude of their discovery became apparent. Emerging from the swirling cosmic dust was a vessel of such immense proportions that it dwarfed even the largest Confederation dreadnoughts. Its hull was a deep, light-absorbing black that seemed to bend the very starlight around it. "Run a full spectrum analysis," Zara commanded, her voice hushed with awe. "I want to know everything about this ship." For hours, the crew of the Stargazer worked tirelessly, their sensors probing every inch of the colossal vessel. What they found defied explanation. "Captain," Clix reported, his usual calm demeanor shaken. "The technology. It's beyond anything we've ever encountered. The power readings alone suggest capabilities that should be impossible." Zara nodded, her mind racing. "Any signs of life?" Clix shook his head. "Negative. The ship appears to be in some form of dormant state. But Captain, there's something else." "Go on," Zara urged. "We've detected faint traces of genetic material in the ship's outer hull. It's fragmented, degraded by time and cosmic radiation, but it appears to be of human origin." The bridge fell silent. Humans were nothing more than a myth, a long-extinct species that supposedly predated even the oldest civilizations in the Confederation. Yet here, floating before them, was evidence that not only had humans existed, but they had possessed technology far beyond anything currently known. Zara stood, her decision made. "Prepare a boarding party. We need to see this with our own eyes." As the Stargazer's shuttle approached the enormous black ship, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were awakening something that had lain dormant for eons. The shuttle's floodlights illuminated a small section of the hull, revealing intricate patterns and symbols etched into the impossibly smooth surface. "Look there," one of the science officers pointed. "Those markings, they're not just decorative. They seem to be reacting to our presence." Indeed, as the shuttle drew closer, faint lines of blue energy began to pulse along the ship's hull, spreading outward like ripples in a pond. It was as if the vessel itself was slowly stirring from a long slumber. The boarding party, clad in their environmental suits, approached an airlock that had materialized on the ship's surface. As they drew near, the airlock cycled open with a hiss of ancient machinery coming to life. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. "Remember," she addressed her team, "we're making first contact with a civilization that may have been dormant for millennia. Stay alert, but non-threatening. We're here to learn, not to fight." As they stepped into the airlock, the gravity shifted, adjusting to match their physiology perfectly. The inner door slid open, revealing a vast, dimly lit corridor that seemed to stretch endlessly in both directions. "Incredible," breathed Dr. Lan, the team's xenorchaeologist. The atmospheric composition, the gravity. It's all adapting to our presence. This level of technology it's beyond anything we've ever theorized. As the team cautiously made their way deeper into the ship, dormant systems began to flicker to life around them. Holographic displays sprang into existence, showing star charts and data readouts in an unfamiliar language that nonetheless seemed vaguely familiar to Zara. "Captain," called out Security Chief Vex, his feline ears twitching nervously. "I'm picking up an energy signature ahead. It's massive." The team rounded a corner and found themselves in what could only be described as the ship's bridge. A massive view screen dominated one wall, currently dark and lifeless. But in the center of the room stood a pillar of swirling energy, pulsing with a soft blue light. As Zara approached, the energy coalesced into a humanoid form. It was tall, bipedal, with 2 arms and a head. Unmistakably human in its basic shape, but this was no flesh and blood being. It was a construct of pure energy and data. "Welcome," the figure spoke, its voice resonating not through the air, but directly in their minds. "I am the custodian of the Ark. You have awakened us from our long slumber. Tell me, children of the stars, what has become of humanity?" Zara stepped forward, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "I am Captain Zora Voss of the Galactic Confederation. Humanity is considered extinct, a legend from the distant past." The custodian's form flickered, a ripple of what could only be described as sadness passing through its energy matrix. "Then it is as we feared. The great calamity consumed our civilization. But in you, I sense the echoes of our legacy. The seeds we scattered across the cosmos have borne fruit." "What is this ship?" Zara asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her awe. "Why has it remained hidden for so long?" The custodian's form expanded, encompassing the entire bridge in a shimmer of blue light. "This vessel is the Ark, the last hope of humanity. When we foresaw our downfall, we created this ship to preserve our knowledge, our technology, and the essence of what made us human. It was to remain dormant until a civilization worthy of our legacy emerged." Images flashed across the view screen, glimpses of a civilization of staggering advancement, worlds transformed, stars harnessed for energy, and feats of engineering that boggled the mind. "But why now?" Zora pressed. "Why reveal yourselves to us?" The custodian's form condensed once more, focusing its gaze on Zara. "Because the threat that ended humanity is stirring once more. The Void Eaters, cosmic entities of unimaginable power, have begun to awaken. Your confederation, impressive as it is, stands no chance against them. But with the knowledge and technology contained within the Ark, you may yet survive." Zara felt the weight of this revelation settle upon her shoulders. In the span of a few hours, everything she thought she knew about the universe had been upended. The mythical humans were real, and they had created this incredible ship. But more than that, they had entrusted the future of the galaxy to whoever would find it. "What would you have us do?" Zara asked, her voice filled with determination. The custodian's form began to fade, its energy seeming to seep into the very walls of the ship. "Learn, grow, become more than you are. The Ark contains the sum total of human knowledge and achievement. It will take time to fully integrate, but time is a luxury you may not have." As the custodian disappeared, the bridge came fully to life. Consoles lit up, displays flickered with information, and a low hum of power thrummed through the deck plates. Zara turned to her stunned crew, her 4 eyes blazing with purpose. "Contact the Confederation. Tell them everything. The age of complacency is over. It's time for the children of humanity to reclaim their birthright and face the coming storm." As the crew scrambled to carry out her orders, Zara gazed out at the stars visible through the now transparent hull of the Ark. Somewhere out there, an ancient enemy was stirring. But thanks to this gift from humanity's past, they now had a fighting chance. The awakening of the Black Ship marked not just the return of long-lost human technology, but the dawn of a new era for all sentient life in the galaxy. The legacy of humanity would live on through those they had unknowingly seeded across the cosmos. And as the Ark hummed to life around her, Zara knew that the greatest adventure and the greatest challenge of her people's history was just beginning. First contact. The news of the Ark's discovery spread through the Galactic Confederation like wildfire. Within days, a flotilla of ships had arrived at the coordinates transmitted by the Stargazer. Scientists, diplomats, and military personnel from dozens of species clamored for the chance to board the legendary human vessel and unlock its secrets. Admiral Thrix, a veteran of countless conflicts and the highest-ranking military officer in the sector, took charge of the operation. His massive form, a hybrid of organic and cybernetic components, dominated the makeshift command center established on the Stargazer. "Captain Voss," he rumbled, his voice a mix of organic growl and synthetic overtones. "Your discovery has thrown the entire Confederation into chaos. Half the Council believes this Ark to be our salvation, while the other half fears it could be our doom." Zara stood at attention, her antennae twitching slightly, the only outward sign of her nervousness. "With all due respect, Admiral, I've seen what this ship is capable of. The technology aboard the Ark could revolutionize every aspect of our civilization." Thrix's cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on Zara. "And that's precisely what worries the Council. Power of this magnitude, in the wrong hands, could destabilize the entire galaxy. Not to mention this warning about, what did you call them? Void Eaters." Before Zara could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Clix's voice came over the comms, urgent and slightly panicked. "Captain, Admiral, you need to see this." They rushed to the bridge, where the main view screen showed a sight that sent chills down Zora's spine. A massive tear had appeared in the fabric of space itself, a swirling vortex of darkness that seemed to devour light itself. "By the void," Admiral Thrix whispered, his organic eye widening in shock. From the depths of the vortex, something emerged. It defied description. A mass of writhing tentacles and gnashing maws, larger than any ship in the Confederation fleet. Its very presence seemed to distort reality around it. "Void Eater," Zara breathed, remembering the custodian's warning. As the monstrous entity approached, the Ark suddenly sprang to life. Energy fields of impossible complexity sprang up around the Confederation ships, shielding them from the reality-warping effects of the Void Eater's presence. The custodian's voice echoed through the minds of everyone present. "The ancient enemy has found us, but we are not defenseless. The time has come for the children of humanity to take up arms and face the threat that consumed their forebears." Admiral Thrix turned to Zara, his military training kicking in despite the unprecedented nature of the threat. "Captain Voss, you've had the most interaction with this ship. What are our options?" Zara's mind raced, recalling everything she'd learned in the short time aboard the Ark. "The ship's defensive systems are beyond anything we possess, but they're designed to be operated by humans. We need to interface with the Ark's systems directly." "How?" Thrix demanded. As if in answer, a section of the Stargazer's bridge shimmered and transformed. Where once there were standard control consoles, now stood sleek, almost organic-looking interfaces. "Neural links," Zara explained, approaching one of the new stations. "The Ark is adapting its technology to interface with our biology. We need volunteers to connect directly with the ship's systems." Admiral Thrix hesitated only for a moment before nodding grimly. "Do it. Whatever it takes to stop that thing." Zara took a deep breath and placed her hands on the neural interface. Instantly, her consciousness expanded, merging with the vast intelligence of the Ark. She felt the presence of others. Admiral Thrix, Clix, and several other crew members who had interfaced with the transformed systems. Through the Ark's sensors, Zara perceived the Void Eater in terrifying clarity. It was more than just a physical threat. Its very existence was an affront to the laws of physics. But now, with the power of humanity's legacy flowing through her, Zara also saw his weaknesses. "Concentrate your thoughts," the custodian's voice guided them. "The weapons of the Ark respond to will and intent. Visualize the threat, then imagine its destruction." As one, the linked crew members focused their thoughts. The Ark's hull shimmered, revealing weapon emplacements of staggering complexity. Beams of coherent light, more focused than any laser, lanced out towards the Void Eater. Where they struck, reality itself seemed to stabilize, forcing the entity back into a form bound by the laws of physics. The creature reeled, its impossible geometry wavering, but it was far from defeated. With a psychic roar that threatened to shatter the minds of the linked crew, it lashed out with tentacles of pure darkness. "Hold the line." Admiral Frix's thoughts boomed through their shared consciousness. "We are the last hope of countless civilizations. We will not fall here." Zara felt the Admiral's iron will bolstering her own resolve. Through the Ark systems, she directed defensive fields to intercept the Void Eater's attacks. Where darkness met light, spectacular explosions of energy lit up the battlefield. For what felt like hours, the battle raged. The Void Eater, a being that had consumed entire galaxies, found itself evenly matched by the combined will of the Confederation crew, amplified by the legacy of humanity. Finally, with one last concentrated blast from the Ark's main weapon, a beam of energy that seemed to channel the very essence of creation, the Void Eater's form destabilized completely. With a silent scream that echoed across dimensions, the entity collapsed in on itself, leaving behind nothing but a faintly shimmering tear in space that quickly sealed itself. Zara stood at attention, her antennae twitching slightly, the only outward sign of her nervousness. "With all due respect, Admiral, I've seen what this ship is capable of. The technology aboard the Ark could revolutionize every aspect of our civilization." Thrix's cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on Zara, and that's precisely what worries the Council. Power of this magnitude, in the wrong hands, could destabilize the entire galaxy. Not to mention this warning about, what did you call them? Void Eaters. Before Zara could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Clix's voice came over the comms, urgent, and slightly panicked. "Captain, Admiral, you need to see this." They rushed to the bridge, where the main view screen showed a sight that sent chills down Zora's spine. A massive tear had appeared in the fabric of space itself, a swirling vortex of darkness that seemed to devour light itself. "By the void," Admiral Thrix whispered, his organic eye widening in shock. From the depths of the vortex, something emerged. It defied description. A mass of writhing tentacles and gnashing maws, larger than any ship in the Confederation fleet. Its very presence seemed to distort reality around it. "Void Eater," Zara breathed, remembering the custodian's warning. As the monstrous entity approached, the Ark suddenly sprang to life. Energy fields of impossible complexity sprang up around the Confederation ships, shielding them from the reality-warping effects of the Void Eater's presence. The custodian's voice echoed through the minds of everyone present. "The ancient enemy has found us, but we are not defenseless. The time has come for the children of humanity to take up arms and face the threat that consumed their forebears." Admiral Thrix turned to Zara, his military training kicking in despite the unprecedented nature of the threat. "Captain Voss, you've had the most interaction with this ship. What are our options?" Zara's mind raced, recalling everything she'd learned in the short time aboard the Ark. "The ship's defensive systems are beyond anything we possess, but they're designed to be operated by humans. We need to interface with the Ark systems directly." "How?" Thrix demanded. As if in answer, a section of the Stargazer's bridge shimmered and transformed. Where once there were standard control consoles, now stood sleek, almost organic-looking interfaces. "Neural links," Zara explained, approaching one of the new stations. "The Ark is adapting its technology to interface with our biology. We need volunteers to connect directly with the ship's systems." Admiral Thrix hesitated only for a moment before nodding grimly. "Do it. Whatever it takes to stop that thing." Zara took a deep breath and placed her hands on the neural interface. Instantly, her consciousness expanded, merging with the vast intelligence of the Ark. She felt the presence of others, Admiral Thrix, Clix, and several other crew members who had interfaced with the transformed systems. Through the Ark's sensors, Zara perceived the Void Eater in terrifying clarity. It was more than just a physical threat. Its very existence was an affront to the laws of physics. But now, with the power of humanity's legacy flowing through her, Zara also saw its weaknesses. "Concentrate your thoughts." The custodian's voice guided them. "The weapons of the Ark respond to will and intent. Visualize the threat, then imagine its destruction." As one, the linked crew members focused their thoughts. The Ark's hull shimmered, revealing weapon emplacements of staggering complexity. Beams of coherent light, more focused than any laser, lanced out towards the Void Eater. Where they struck, reality itself seemed to stabilize, forcing the entity back into a form bound by the laws of physics. The creature reeled, its impossible geometry wavering. But it was far from defeated. With a psychic roar that threatened to shatter the minds of the linked crew, it lashed out with tentacles of pure darkness. "Hold the line." Admiral Thrix's thoughts boomed through their shared consciousness. "We are the last hope of countless civilizations. We will not fall here." Zara felt the Admiral's iron while bolstering her own resolve. Through the Ark's systems, she directed defensive fields to intercept the Void Eater's attacks. Where darkness met light, spectacular explosions of energy lit up the battlefield. For what felt like hours, the battle raged. The Void Eater, a being that had consumed entire galaxies, found itself evenly matched by the combined will of the Confederation crew, amplified by the legacy of humanity. Finally, with one last concentrated blast from the Ark's main weapon, a beam of energy that seemed to channel the very essence of creation, the Void Eater's form destabilized completely. With a silent scream that echoed across dimensions, the entity collapsed in on itself, leaving behind nothing but a faintly shimmering tear in space that quickly sealed itself. As the immediate threat passed, Zara and the others disengaged from the neural link, their minds reeling from the experience. The bridge of the Stargazer was silent, save for the heavy breathing of the crew as they struggled to process what had just occurred. Admiral Thrix was the first to speak, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and determination. "Captain Voss, it seems your discovery was even more important than we realized. This changes everything." Zara nodded, still coming to terms with the power she had wielded. "The Void Eaters are real, Admiral, and if this was just one of them, then there are more out there," Thrix finished grimly, "and we need to be ready." The custodian's form shimmered into existence once more. "You have proven yourselves worthy inheritors of humanity's legacy, but this was only the beginning. The Void Eaters will return in greater numbers, drawn by the awakening of the Ark." "What would you have us do?" Zara asked, echoing her words from their first meeting. "Learn," the custodian replied. "Grow. The Ark contains knowledge that will transform your civilization. But more importantly, it contains the key to unlocking the potential that lies dormant within you, the legacy of humanity that flows." Unraveling the mystery. In the weeks following the confrontation with the Void Eater, the Galactic Confederation underwent a transformation unlike anything in its long history. The Ark, once a myth, now stood as a beacon of hope and a fountain of knowledge that promised to revolutionize every aspect of their civilization. Captain Zara Voss found herself at the center of this whirlwind of change. As the one who had first interfaced with the Ark systems, she had become an invaluable asset in deciphering the vast trove of information left behind by humanity. On this particular day, Zara stood in the Ark's Grand Library, a cavernous chamber filled with holographic displays and data crystals that contained the sum total of human knowledge. Dr. Len, the xenorchaeologist, hovered nearby, his multiple eyes darting from one display to another in barely contained excitement. "It's extraordinary," Lan breathed, his tendrils quivering. The humans, they weren't just technologically advanced. They had mastered sciences we haven't even conceived of yet. Zara nodded, her own 4 eyes scanning the information before her. Quantum manipulation, dark energy harnessing, even rudimentary control over the fabric of space-time itself. It's no wonder they were able to create a ship like the Ark. As they delved deeper into the archives, a recurring theme began to emerge. References to something called the Awakening appeared with increasing frequency, often in conjunction with discussions about humanity's greatest achievements. "Captain," Lan called out, his voice tinged with awe. "I think I've found something." A personal log from one of the Ark's original creators. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the image of a human woman. Her eyes held a depth of wisdom and sorrow that transcended species barriers. "If you're viewing this," the recording began, "then the Ark has fulfilled its purpose. I am Dr. Ilara Chen, lead scientist of Project Odyssey. What I'm about to share with you is the true purpose of the Ark and the key to humanity's greatest discovery." Zaret and Lan listened intently as Dr. Chen explained the concept of the Awakening. It wasn't just a technological achievement, but a fundamental shift in human consciousness and capability. "We discovered that the human mind, when pushed to its limits, could tap into the underlying fabric of the universe itself," Dr. Chen's hologram explained. "This awakening granted us abilities that defied conventional physics: telepathy, matter manipulation, even limited precognition. It was this power that allowed us to create the Ark and the technology within it." As the implications of this revelation sank in, Zara felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. If the humans could achieve this awakening, she mused, could we? Dr. Chen's hologram seemed to anticipate this question. The Ark was not just designed to preserve our knowledge, but to serve as a catalyst for the awakening in other species. "The neural interfaces you've been using are the first step in this process." Lan's tendrils twisted in agitation. "Captain, if this is true, it changes everything we thought we knew about our own potential." Before Zara could respond, an alarm blared through the chamber. Admiral Thrix's voice came over the comms, urgent and grave. "Captain Voss, we need you on the bridge immediately. We've detected multiple spatial anomalies forming at the edge of the system." Zara's hearts raced as she and Lan rushed to the Ark's command center. The main view screen showed a sight that chilled her to the core. Not one, but 3 massive tears in the fabric of space, each one disgorging a void eater even larger than the one they had faced before. "By the stars," Thrix growled, his cybernetic components whirring as he assessed the threat. "We barely survived one of these monstrosities. How are we supposed to face 3? The custodian's energy form materialized beside them. "The time has come to fully embrace the legacy left to you. Captain Voss, you and your crew must undergo the awakening. It is the only way to unlock the Ark's true potential and face this threat." Zara hesitated for only a moment before nodding decisively. "What do we need to do?" "Enter the crucible," the custodian instructed, gesturing towards a chamber that had appeared at the center of the bridge. "It will accelerate the process that the neural interfaces began. But be warned, the awakening is not without risk. You will be pushing your minds and bodies to their absolute limits." Admiral Thrix stepped forward, his organic eye gleaming with determination. "I'll go first, if anything happens to me." "No," Zara interrupted. "I made first contact with the Ark. Its systems are most attuned to me. I'll do it." Before anyone could object, Zara strode into the crucible. As the chamber sealed around her, she felt a moment of panic. Then, a sense of calm washed over her as the crucible hummed to life. Energy coursed through her body, setting every nerve ending alight. Zara's consciousness expanded, pushing against the boundaries of her physical form. She saw flashes of human history, their triumphs, their failures, and the moment they achieved their own awakening. In that instant, Zara understood. The awakening wasn't just about gaining new abilities. It was about understanding one's place in the grand tapestry of the universe. She felt connected to every atom, every wave of energy that permeated existence. When the crucible's door finally opened, Zara stepped out transformed. Her body glowed with a soft inner light, and her eyes held the wisdom of ages. The crew gasped, seeing not just their captain, but a being transcended. "I understand now," Zara said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "The Ark, the Void Eaters, our own potential, it's all connected." She turned to the custodian, who nodded in approval. "You have taken the first step. Now you must lead your people in facing the threat that comes." As the rest of the command crew entered the crucible one by one, emerging changed but united in purpose, Zara faced the view screen. The Void Eaters loomed closer, their impossible forms distorting the very stars around them. But now, with the power of the awakening coursing through her, Zara saw them not as invincible cosmic horrors, but as challenges to be overcome. She raised her hand, feeling the Ark's systems respond to her will with unprecedented precision. "Prepare for battle," she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of two civilizations' legacies. "Today, we fight not just for our survival, but for our ascension." As the Ark's weapons powered up, glowing with the combined will of its awakened crew, Zara felt a surge of hope. The children of humanity were about to face their greatest test, armed with the knowledge and power of their long-lost forebears. The battle for the future of the galaxy was about to begin. The battle for control. The vastness of space became a battlefield unlike any the Galactic Confederation had ever seen. 3 colossal Void Eaters, each capable of devouring entire star systems, bore down upon the Ark and its defenders. But this time, the children of humanity were ready. Captain Zara Voss stood at the center of the Ark's command bridge, her newly awakened consciousness seamlessly interfaced with the ancient vessel's systems. Around her, the awakened crew members worked in perfect synchronization, their minds linked in a complex neural network that made traditional communication obsolete. Admiral Thrix, his cybernetic components now fully integrated with his awakened biology, coordinated the Confederation fleet. All ships, assume defensive formation Omega. His thoughts echoed through the mental link. "Remember your training. We are the last line of defense for every sentient being in this galaxy." As the Void Eaters approached, reality itself seemed to warp and twist. Stars blinked out of existence, only to reappear in impossible configurations. The laws of physics buckled under the strain of the cosmic monstrosity's presence. But Zara saw beyond the chaos. With her awakened senses, she perceived the underlying patterns of the universe, the ebb and flow of fundamental forces that even the Void Eaters were subject to. There, she communicated to the crew, her thoughts accompanied by vivid mental imagery. The Void Eaters aren't invulnerable. They're like whirlpools in the fabric of space-time. If we can disrupt their rotational symmetry, we can force them to collapse in on themselves. Dr. Lan, his multiple eyes now glowing with inner light, quickly grasped the concept. "The Ark's main cannon," he suggested. "If we modulate its output to match the inverse frequency of the Void Eater's dimensional rotation." "Do it," Zara commanded. The Ark systems responded instantaneously to their collective will. The massive ship's hull reconfigured itself, revealing weapon emplacements that defied conventional understanding of technology. Beams of coherent energy, more focused than any laser yet as expansive as a solar flare, lanced out towards the approaching Void Eaters. The effect was immediate and spectacular. Where the beams struck, the Void Eaters' impossible geometries began to unravel. Tentacles of dark matter dissipated into clouds of subatomic particles, and maws that could swallow planets snapped shut, sealed by the reassertion of natural law. But the Void Eaters were far from defeated. With a psychic roar that threatened to shatter the sanity of lesser beings, they retaliated. Space itself became a weapon, as localized singularities erupted around the Confederation fleet. Evasive maneuvers. Admiral Thrix bellowed, his flagship narrowly avoiding a spontaneously forming black hole. Zara felt the strain on the Ark and its crew. The power they were channeling was beyond anything their bodies and minds were designed to handle. Warning signals flashed across her consciousness, indicating multiple systems on the verge of overload. We need more power, she realized. The Ark alone isn't enough. As if in response to her thoughts, the custodian's energy form materialized beside her. There is a way, it communicated, but it requires the ultimate sacrifice. Understanding dawned on Zara. The crucible, she breathed. It's not just a tool for awakening. It's a conduit. The custodian nodded solemnly. The Ark was designed with one final protocol. In the direst need, it can channel the life force of its crew to unleash its full potential. But the cost is our lives, Zara finished. She looked around at her crew, seeing the same realization and determination in their eyes. Without a word, they all knew what had to be done. Zara turned to Admiral Thrix. Admiral, I need you to take command of the Ark. What we're about to do, someone needs to remain to guide the ship afterward. Thrix's organic eye widened in understanding. Captain, I can't let you. That's an order, Admiral. Zara cut him off, her voice gentle but firm. The galaxy will need leaders in the aftermath. Make sure our sacrifice isn't in vain. Before Thrix could protest further, Zara and the core crew made their way to the crucible. As they entered the chamber, Zara felt a profound sense of peace. She understood now why the humans had created the Ark, why they had seeded the galaxy with their descendants. It wasn't just about survival. It was about passing on the torch of consciousness itself. As the crucible activated, Zara felt her individual self begin to dissolve. But instead of fear, she experienced a profound expansion. Her consciousness merged with those of her crew, with the Ark itself, and for a brief, eternal moment, with the very fabric of the universe. Through the Ark's sensors, she saw the Void Eaters falter as an unimaginable wave of energy washed over them. The laws of physics reasserted themselves with a vengeance, forcing the cosmic horrors to conform to the natural order. One by one, they collapsed, their impossible forms imploding into singularities that quickly evaporated into Hawking radiation. As her physical form faded, Zara had one final vision. She saw the future stretching out before her, a galaxy reborn, with the awakened children of humanity leading the way into a new era of exploration and understanding. She saw civilizations rising, reaching for the stars not in conquest, but in a quest for knowledge and connection. And in that moment, as her individual consciousness merged with the cosmic whole, Captain Zara Voss knew that their sacrifice had been worth it. The battle was over. The Void Eaters were defeated. And though the cost had been high, the legacy of humanity, a legacy of resilience, curiosity, and the relentless pursuit of growth, would live on through those they had touched. As the last of the energy faded, Admiral Thrix stood alone on the bridge of the Ark, surrounded by the echoes of those who had given everything to secure the future. With a heavy heart but a determined spirit, he set a course for the Galactic Confederation's capital. The time had come to share the gift of awakening with all sentient beings. The children of humanity would sleep no more. Humanity's resurgence. The great hall of the Galactic Confederation's capital world fell silent as Admiral Thrix concluded his report. The assembled representatives of 1,000 species sat in stunned silence, trying to process the magnitude of what they had just heard. The defeat of the Void Eaters, the awakening of latent abilities, the sacrifice of Captain Zara Voss and her crew, and now, the offer of a gift beyond imagining, the legacy of humanity available to all. Chancellor Xyra, her crystalline form shimmering with barely contained emotion, was the first to speak. Admiral Thrix, what you propose, it would fundamentally alter the very fabric of our society. Are we truly ready for such a transformation? Thrix stood tall, his cybernetic eye scanning the crowd while his organic one held a depth of wisdom and sorrow that transcended his gruff exterior. Chancellor, esteemed representatives, I stand before you not just as an admiral of the Confederation, but as a witness to sacrifice and possibility. He gestured to the custodian, whose energy form hovered beside him. The threat of the Void Eaters may be temporarily abated, but it is not eliminated. More will come, and when they do, we must be ready. The awakening is not just an option, it is our only path forward. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Fear, excitement, skepticism. A cacophony of emotions threatened to overwhelm the proceedings. But then, a new voice cut through the chaos. Dr. Land stepped forward, his multiple eyes glowing with inner light. As one of the few survivors of the Orcs crew, his words carried special weight. "I have glimpsed the potential that lies dormant within us all," he said, his voice resonating with newfound power. "It is not something to be feared, but embraced. The humans did not create this gift. They merely discovered it first. It is our birthright as sentient beings." Over the next several cycles, debate raged across the Confederation. Some feared the changes that the awakening would bring, while others eagerly embraced the possibility of transcendence. But as reports of renewed Void Eater activity trickled in from the fringes of known space, the decision became clear. The Galactic Confederation would awaken. Guided by the custodian and the knowledge contained within the Ark, awakening chambers were constructed on worlds throughout the galaxy. Volunteers from every species underwent the process, emerging transformed but still fundamentally themselves. As the number of awakened individuals grew, so too did the Confederation's capabilities. Faster than light travel, once limited by the constraints of physics, became almost instantaneous as awakened pilots learned to fold space itself. Telepathic networks spanning light years facilitated communication and understanding between species that had once been separated by vast cultural divides. But perhaps the most profound change was in how the awakened perceived the universe itself. The underlying connections between all things, once invisible, became clear. The awakened saw not just with their eyes, but with a cosmic awareness that revealed the true nature of reality. 5 years after the battle that had changed everything, Admiral Thrix stood on the observation deck of the New Horizon, the first of a new class of ships designed to harness the full potential of awakened crews. Beside him stood Zira, Captain Voss's daughter, her 4 eyes glowing with the same inner light that had once illuminated her mother's. "We're ready, Admiral," Zira said, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and reverence. "The expedition is prepared to depart." Thrix nodded, his gruff exterior softened by a small smile. "Your mother would be proud, Captain. She gave everything so that we could stand here today, ready to take our first steps into a larger universe." As the New Horizon prepared to depart, carrying with it representatives from every awakened species, the custodian's form shimmered into existence. "The cycle is complete," it said, its voice echoing with the wisdom of ages. "Humanity's children have come into their own, ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos may bring." With a thought, Captain Zira activated the New Horizon's revolutionary drive. Space folded around the ship, and in an instant, they were gone. The first of many expeditions that would push the boundaries of known space and explore the infinite possibilities that lay beyond. Back on the Confederation capital, in a quiet garden designed for meditation, a statue stood, a memorial to those who had given everything to secure this future. At its center was a life-sized hologram of Captain Zara Voss, her form radiating the determination and hope that had characterized her final moments. The inscription at the base read, "To Captain Zara Voss and the crew of the Ark. Your sacrifice ignited the spark of our potential. In your memory, we reach for the stars, awakened, united, and unafraid." As the New Horizon ventured into the unknown, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of a galaxy transformed, the legacy of humanity lived on. Not just in the technology they had left behind, or the knowledge they had preserved, but in the spirit of exploration, the drive to understand, and the courage to face the darkness that had been awakened in all sentient beings. The Black Ship's revival had indeed marked humanity's return to power, not as conquerors, but as guardians and guides for a new era of cosmic enlightenment. And as the awakened civilizations of the Galactic Confederation took their first steps into a larger universe, they carried with them the most important lesson humanity had left behind. The greatest power lies not in domination, but in the connections we forge and the potential we unlock in ourselves and others. The journey of awakening had only just begun.